Okay, as you can see by the title, Sorority House Massacre. This came out in the mid-80s, and it's about as generic 80s slasher as it gets. But that was the whole goal of it, obviously, because it was in that era of the Slumber Party Massacre and those generic Salem slasher horror titles, along with House on Sorority Row. Basically combine that with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Slumber Party Massacre. Um, so I've been wanting to see this, and you could check them all out on YouTube. It's like a 3-part trilogy. And then I think they did 2 more that were named like Cheerleader Massacre or something. But I'm gonna review them one at a time as I see them. So I just checked out the first one, and it came off as a knockoff Halloween mixed with the Initiation, Final Exam, and Final Exam itself is a knockoff of Halloween. If you've ever seen that movie, don't really recommend it. It sucks ass too. And obviously it's a combination of House on Sorority Row with that concept of the Slumber Party Massacre involved. So we follow a girl that's already traumatized. That's how they play it out. And she's like a freshman. She moves in. She's already a freshman, and she moves into her sorority, and she's traumatized, just like the Initiation, exactly like that. So you know you're in for a whole bunch of emotional filler right off the bat, and that's how it plays out. And we learn that the sorority house has a history of horror, that there was a murder that occurred there, and she's having nightmares of how her family was murdered. So the guy doesn't even show up, and he breaks out, and it ends up being her brother. It's not that big of a twist. Everyone knows it going in. That's the synopsis of it, is she has memory loss, and her brother breaks out of the institute. They have a telekinetic connection that he knows her presence is back in the house. So he busts out the mental institution, and he heads to the house. And these characters are just so dumb. But, I mean, it's Sorority House Massacre. What the hell do you expect? They're not even that hot. Look at this poster. Most 80s slasher posters, 80s horror posters were all artistically drawn, you know? And this one, they hired some blonde bitch who's hotter than any of the bitches that we got to see in the actual movie. And they put a bunch of ordinary girls in the movie. And another dumb thing that they do, the whole ending kind of feels staged, but what they do is, it feels real dark, and I like the feel of it as it goes on. I buy into what's going on and the chaos, because he shows up at the sorority house. There's only 4 bitches and like a few guys who are trying to get some. And the kills feel realistic, how he stabs them. They're not over the top. So it feels like it all really happened, and that's how a murder would happen. He like cuts the phone line, and they're all huddled up like in a room with the dresser, and he's trying to encroach on the room. It's pretty classic. It builds up the tension. It's worth the movie's only 75 minutes long, so it's worth that kind of the wait out, because the payoff's pretty good. Even though it's not a whodunit, I like whodunits more. The House on Sorority Row is a whodunit, and but this one, you know who the killer is, because you see him, that other side of the world of him breaking out of the mental institute, a la Michael Myers. So the bitches are all in the room, and the guy's climbing up on the outside of the house, up to the 2nd story window, and they knock him off the ledge. And what do they ask themselves? They're like, is he dead? Even though this came out in 1986, a point in time where you'd think that the characters would have the knowledge to break the 4th wall and mention, he's an 80s slasher villain, he's not dead. Especially not from being pushed out the window and falling on the grass. And then they walk past some bitch who's like was stabbed by him earlier and she's got blood everywhere. And then they ask if she's dead. Yeah, she's dead. You guys should know these things by now. And so I'm gonna give it a C, 7.5 out of 10. I'm looking forward to the second one. Apparently, some bitches buy up the house for their sorority house to reopen it, and they hold a seance. They play with a Ouija board, and that's as far as I read. I don't want to know any more else. I'm gonna check it out soon. So check out the Sorority House Massacre, and I also want to see Haunting on Sorority Row. I think that's the Leighton Meester. That was a Lifetime made-for-TV movie that came out in like 2007, 2008. They have that on YouTube. I gotta check it. I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, I already saw it.
All the Sorority
Ian reviewed
House
it.
Massacres.
She's hot, but he kind of sucks.
Coming up this fall to review. Been wanting to check them out for a long time. So this was JBM, and I'm out. Tell me your thoughts. Leave comments.
But definitely
Tell me what
watch.
you think about this franchise.
Definitely watch. I recorded that in 2012. And now it's October 2013. I saw Sorority House Massacre 2. Holy shit, it's amazing. I did a review on it in Villain Radio. I think it's still on YouTube. Check it out. You have to check it out. It's fucking amazing. And there's like the most amount of tits you'll ever see in a movie in that. So anyway, yeah, I'm out. Tune into another day tomorrow for the review marathon.